Hey, this is Jack, and this video is called How to Avoid Being Breadcrumbed in 2022. Hey, my name's Jack Butler. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. I would love to have you as part of the community. If you like what you get in this video, please subscribe and then tap the bell notification so you hear of new videos as soon as they come out. So, let's get into today's topic. I know this is one that a lot of you have written about in the past, and unfortunately I know it's something that you're still often struggling with, so let me see if I can help. So I'm going to just give you a number of options to put on your menu for how you might deal with being breadcrumbed. So first thing is to realize that you are not a victim of being breadcrumbed, meaning you get to choose how you participate and what you give your energy and your attention to. So if you are receiving sporadic communication in a way that is not working for you, you get to say, hey, this doesn't work for me. Or you get to not have to respond. You basically are staying in your lane on your side of the fence and choosing how much energy and attention you invest. And when you do that, you're actually taking responsibility for yourself, and you're not the victim of this sporadic communication. You actually just see it for what it is, and you have a choice. Do you want to engage? Right? It might be that low level of communication actually is fine for you, and you just see it for what it is. Or actually, it might not be what you want to engage in, and therefore you don't engage in it. You know? It's kind of taking responsibility for your own agency. And secondly, so the second thing you can do is not being in the business of needing to change someone. Right? This is where all of us get stuck at times, is wanting and needing other people to change. Of course, we can be invitations for other people to change. In this instance, you could say, hey, if you want to be in contact with me, I'm going to need something more consistent. Otherwise, I'd prefer us not to be in touch. So you can be clear about what it is that you want, your parameters for engagement, but they're your parameters, right? And then someone else can have responsibility and choice about whether they want to play with you or not. What we don't want to be in the business is of losing a lot of energy and frustration and pent-up feeling to making this guy wrong, when actually he has a choice as to how he engages with you, and you have a choice in your adult as to how you engage with him. Right? So I might be simplifying it. There may be some complexity in your situation. And I've also helped a lot of people in these situations. And sometimes the simplicity of it is you're a no, but you're not acknowledging you're a no. And you're hoping that somehow you can get more of his attention. You can become more attractive to him. You can do something. You want to become a cure for breadcrumbing. And we actually want you out of that business. We don't want you in the business of trying to cure or heal or transform breadcrumbers. We actually want you in the business of what are you a yes to and what are you a no to, and to simplify your life in that way. The third thing that you can do is you can do nothing at all. Right? You can actually choose to exit left and completely put your attention somewhere else, in your own life, in other dating, in whatever you're actually drawn to, or whatever is meeting a level of investment, engagement, attention that works for you, right? So you don't necessarily have to have a big song and dance about this. You can just decide, actually, I'm no longer wanting to support this. Even if my support is I reply and then get drawn into more conversation than I want, or I keep trying to keep the conversation going, so I'm reaching out, but I'm not getting a lot back. Let's just stop, slow down, sober up, bring yourself back to yourself, give yourself the gift of the attention to yourself, and give yourself the gift of not needing it to be different, right? That's the definition of sobriety in this instance, is seeing it clearly, not having to overlay it with someone's doing something wrong, just saying, you know what? This isn't actually for me. You know, I don't tend to eat a lot of McDonald's, but I also don't tend to spend much time going into McDonald's and telling the manager why I don't eat McDonald's, right? That's not a great use of my time. I know what McDonald's serves, and occasionally it could be fun for me to engage with that. Or if I'm stuck out at night late and I need food and McDonald's is the only place open, I may go in there, right? In the same way, you may decide that this is not someone you want to engage with, but let's say I don't know, you're ill in bed and he hits you up and it's late at night, actually you're happy to exchange a few texts because you want the connection in that moment, right? But you're doing it soberly. You're not trying to educate the breadcrumber. You're not trying to save the breadcrumber. You're not trying to take them to your, transformational spiritual container and have something happen with them. No, you actually just see it for what it is and you choose whether you engage or not. So I say to you, do you want donuts? You get to say yes or no. I say to you, do you want to smoke this cigarette? You get to say yes or no. I say to you, do you want a breath mint? You get to say yes or no. I say to you, do you want kale salad? You get to say yes or no. Do you see the simplicity in this when you take full ownership of your energy and intention? And that is actually coming to point number 4, the gift of the breadcrumb. And no, Jack, there's a gift. Well, the gift of this is it's pointing to your own freedom and your own sobriety and your own ability to take care of yourself. And the more you can do that, right, and notice where you're a yes or you're a no or you're a maybe or you're a yes with conditions, own it in yourself and get more comfortable communicating it, staying in your lane, the better that this will be for you. Right? You can lose a whole lot of attention to this because probably the breadcrumbing is picking up some other place of wound in you, right? Maybe you had a previous connection that was like this and it was really difficult and traumatizing for you, right? Maybe you had one or more of your parents or caregivers that wasn't available to you in the way that you needed. And so you felt attended to, underloved, undernourished. So there could be a place in you where this is easily activatable. Now, none of this is me making you wrong from that, right? We all have trauma and wounding in our past. But the sensible thing to do as best we can is to own it as soberly as we can, perhaps get some support around it, but not try and rearrange everyone else so that we never have to feel that wound. What we want to actually do is desensitize and heal it. Then we get more freedom around other people. So you could spend a lot of time, let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a shoulder injury, right? And so if someone unknowingly goes and pats you on the shoulder, it's really painful to you, right? So we could start an education campaign, reach out to everyone in the neighborhood, make sure that they don't touch you on the shoulder. We could do that. We could also put our attention into healing your shoulder, and then it won't be an issue. Right? So this again is bringing it back to ourselves, not from a place of the inner critic, not from making it wrong. No one is wrong for the pain and wounding and hurt, that betrayals, all of that you have likely experienced, most of us have experienced in some way. What it's doing is inviting your adult who knows more and can do more for you now than perhaps you were able to do in your former self or your little one. Right? So we have compassion for ourselves, but we take that compassion, we own it, and we make our lives better and put our attention there, right? So you're not a breadcrumber re-educator. You are a loaf attractor. You know what you want, and you take a stand for it, and you're going to feel better about that, whether that thing comes into your life yet or not. Because the fifth thing you can also do is kind of turn this over, right? So you could trust life, that if life wants to bring you something better, you can be a no until that something better comes along, until a more substantive connection comes along. So if life is offering you donuts right now, and proverbially you want the kale salad, you don't fill up on donuts, right? You actually have to say no. You exercise that self-will, that discipline, and perhaps the fear comes up, well, is there kale salad? Is it going to ever come? And so this is where the trust comes in, to lean in that maybe life has something better for you, but it's going to take some no's, and it's also going to take a slot in the universe, so to speak, for it to be available. We don't get to control that timing. That's why we call it trust, right? Because we don't really know when it's going to come for us. So you turning it over, letting life support you, saying no to the things you don't want to create a space in the future for something that you do want, that's all going to be a huge part of your development that actually has nothing to do with Mr. Breadcrumber. So those are some of the things that you can do right now in your life to hold this in a different perspective. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know, what's your experience? Is this landing? Is it making sense? And if you haven't, come on, hit subscribe. This is real personal development for real people. And then tap that bell notification. And as always, I'm Jack. Thanks for being here.